Greeting, I'm Vincent. Thank you for joining me for the today sections. We talk about the wireless site survey as a services. The world changing and keep changing. You can compare with 10 and 20 years ago. They have very less wireless connected device. The most we are talking about Wi-Fi is for the laptop. But now we have more and more the wireless connected device, whether it's a tablet or mobile phone, and even have more and more company corporate network or government network is based on the wireless kind of the infrastructures, right? So the site survey, usually it will be something people may think about it or may not think about it, because why? Sometimes you encounter the problem you cannot see because it's wireless, right? It's about the radio frequency, right? So this is has become a requirement for some company want to visualize the radio frequency, and you want to see about whether their workplace or the campus or even the shopping mall multiple building, whether they have enough adequate wireless coverage for the user, or they have something called it dashboard, and so on. All those things, it is not the thing that you can just walk and you can visualize and manipulate. You need some commercial tool, and people will train on how to do it. So it will be in a scenario that this is a one-off scenario that you buy in and invest in the extensive range of the commercial equipment, and the tool may not be the wider option. Then this is what today I will talk about as a services. You can imagine in the first scenario, I talk about the shopping mall. It's a wide open shopping mall, a lot of people. You need to, nowadays it's very common for people to provide adequate Wi-Fi access for people, so that if you have a lot of the dashboard or your performance is not that good, or due to a reason you are placing your wireless AP in the wrong or not the optimized locations, then you may think about you need someone here to work for you and help you to make it for how your current Wi-Fi coverage and the perform light, right? Before you can determine what you need to do next, right? This is a very typical scenario, such as for the shopping mall, right? Another typical case that the Wi-Fi site survey, or we call it radio frequency site survey, it is also quite common for the campus, the open campus network, because it is empowered by a wireless coverage for all the students and for the facility staff and so on, whether that the wireless coverage between all the faculty or facility and in those places is adequate enough, right? Or you want to have an additional wireless access point and so on. All those things is also a scenario. If you don't think about to do it internally from your side, you need a third party to provide you the objective report that is not coming from vendor who provide the wireless network for you. Then this is also another typical scenario. You call for a third party to perform the wireless site survey for you, right? Another typical scenario we go on, it is from the multi-floor office workplace kind of the environment, multiple floor, right? This is a typical scenario where the wireless coverage is important, especially nowadays we talk about enterprise mobility. We want to empower the employee to doing things. We have more and more wireless equipment and the device and solution in places, right? Sometimes we will notice that the channel performance is less than optimized due to the reason because in the multi-floor scenario, you may not be only one running a specific channel. Another channel, or they may have some equipment within the environment will be interference from the signal. When in return you have a weak and less than optimized wireless performance, and you want to know about exactly how your current workplace, the wireless coverage is also in another scenario. You may need a wireless site survey. Maybe it's the one-time service, or after you optimize, you calling for us to come in again to perform a second time to confirm that your current after redesign or reorg structure is fulfill your wireless performance. This is another typical scenario also sometimes for the main, for the construction. You may not be one to wait until your full construction building is complete before you decide on the placement of your wireless access point. What is the location, right? Because sometimes it's just too late. Then it will involve even more costly for you to install and uninstall to place in the right location. In that scenario, usually, you can have these as services that we have people to look in your almost complete building and floor to help you to mapping for the current Wi-Fi coverage and so on before you conceal everything into the building, right? So this is also another typical scenario. You may need it as a services. Like just all the use case we're talking, so that we now talk about the wireless radio frequency site survey as a services. We're talking about this as a services because it will complement your operation and project requirement for as a one-time or ad hoc as the needed basis, right? It will be help you to determine your wireless coverage, your data rate, your network capacity, roaming capacity, and quality of service. Of course, we talk about wireless. So, and then we can also test for your radio frequency interference and should identify the optimum installation location for access point. Especially, you can see from the before and after, right? It will give you very objective view on the exact placement from your access point. So, doing the walk test, you can carry the laptop, install the commercial software and the equipment. We walk the site, and then we auditing and then we analyzing or diagnostic for any existing wireless network. Particular one which is not provide the level of service required, because it means your wireless they will give you the SLA you want. You want to know exactly what is going on, you can improve from there. Right? I will walk through your typical site survey process we're doing. Usually that we will conduct using the computer software, collect and analyzing your wireless network metrics and the radio frequency spectrum, or copy using spectrum analyzer. Then before a survey, usually people engage for a survey such as we need a floor plan or site map, right? So it's imported into our site survey application, and then we can able to set the scan before we go for walk, right? So during the survey, so that our man will walk the facility with a portable computer that continue to record all the wireless data, right, as we walk. So the person will remark the current position of the floor plan, then he walk. That's why that we know the starting point and end point and the coverage area. So after the survey, data analysis is performed and the survey result are documented in the site survey report generated by the application. Then we will provide our third-party independent recommendation from there as well. Here have a few tests of the wireless site survey can be done depending on your scenario. Now I'm starting with the passive site survey first. So passive site survey is a site survey that application passively listen to your wireless network traffic to detect for the active access point, measure the signal strength and noise level. So, however, the wireless adapter being used for the survey is not associated with any of your wireless LAN network. So, for this is very particularly useful for your system design purpose. One or more temporary access points are deployed to identify and qualifying for the access point locations. This used to be the most common method for being deployment Wi-Fi survey, right? So if this is the need, yeah, we were doing in the passive site survey method. For an active site survey, so the wireless adapter is associated with one or several of the access points to measure for routing time, throughput rate, packet loss, and transmissions. Active survey are used to troubleshoot your Wi-Fi network or to verify performance for post-deployment. So this is usually if you want us to be involved in the wireless performance issue troubleshooting, this is the way we done it, right? For the predictive survey, so we were modeling of the radio frequency environment, create a simulation. So it is essential that the correct information of the environment is entered into the modeling tool, include of the location and radio frequency characters. So usually even we using this type of method, we will still walk your site first, right? When the key objective for this is commonly used for, let's say, you redeploy some sampling location for the Wi-Fi, we walk and we detect all those sites. But the main objective for doing that is that you want to know what is the optimized location later on for your placement of your device. So we will involve to be what if analyzing on the optimized coverage area. So you can using those data to be put into your deployment plan way to install into the specific location to have this kind of the optimized wireless coverage, right? Additionally, it also been commonly that by some survey application, you will want us to correct your radio frequency spectrum data. Yes, we're using the spectrum analyzer. So for you to identify for the radio frequency interference form, in particular for not the wireless source, such as microwave oven or the cordless phone or other equipment that emit interference and cause some network, the wireless performance issues, right? When you know what is between that environment, you know what it is. You will know how to react accordingly, right? We quickly go through some key service because it's a service. We talk about the deliverable. Yes, if we do the site survey walk, in particular, we talking about the passive site survey. We will walk your facility. Of course, we still need your site map. This is the reason why. Because by the time we walk, we will start mapping your actual environment according to the wireless performance and signal data into the map, right? At the same time, we will detect from what kind of the channel and access point along the way we detected, right? So this is the typical full, this one is a full flow wireless, right? Site survey mapping in color. That usually is part of the deliverable that we will do for the customer. For the case engagement way, your particular interest is on to identify for the interference, especially for non-Wi-Fi. Yes, we were using the spectrum analyzer. While in time we walk, we were scanning on the radio frequency. So we will try to help you to identify for the pattern on the radio frequency. Then we help you to making for you for that kind of the matter, right? Where it will useful for the people who want to know about what interference between the working environment. Then you can think about how to minimizing all those kind of the interference as the outcome from the report. For cases that you need to involve want us to connect to and then to perform for the wireless, the packet performance analyzing to know about exactly the throughput and traffic along the time of period connect to one. Yes, we will be capturing, of course, using the commercial tool, and then we will analyzing and then to generate a report to you based on the outcome for the troubleshooting sections, right? In particular, then you can using all those data to help you to optimize your wireless network performance, planning, design, or maybe prevent and quality. We continue on the use case, of course, based on just what I say here. Obviously, the UK is typical for ad hoc, the project, wireless site survey mapping, identify the radio frequency interference, or troubleshooting wireless performance issue, or 3-in-1 go, right? Or maybe just a specific for wireless mapping passively, or identify the interference or troubleshooting, right? So use case also is for the third-party wireless site survey report to verify wireless device vendor deployment, whether engaged from end user or as a system integrator for third-party endorsement, because we do not associate with the specific vendor who deploy your wireless device, so you can take it as an objective report or independent check for you, or as the vendor to have, you want to show that they are doing a good job, they want the people to give them a third-party audit on their deployment, right? So, or maybe the UK is for too complicated for handle internally. Because why? You outsource make wireless SAN. Why? Since you don't need to maintain any equipment, you don't need to train your people, you don't need to associate with all those recurring passive costs for the maintenance of all those equipment and tools, right? The benefit and value proposition obviously is very clear, because this is the scenario for you looking for solution as a services. No need to buy anything. They have no hardware, no software, no training how to use, just subscribe at the service, right? It's purely one-off service, unless you want to sign up for 2 times, 1 time done already, you make changes, you want us to come in another round, right? So no maintenance and upkeep equipment required, right? So thirdly, the benefit and value is you looking for third-party independent wireless site survey audit for objective reporting without vendor bias. All your cases, you as a vendor, you want to make your deployment look objective and in front of the end user. It is all the common benefit and use cases. Then for joining for the sections, if you still have some question in mind, feel free to browse our website for a lot of information. You can go into www.espincorp.com, right? Of course, if you have any specific case engagement in mind, feel free to contact us, so we may help you in terms of the services requirement and for these cases, because based on the case you feel that services is the way to go for your cases, right? So feel free to contact us for all kind of requirement and scenario and the scope of your site and the specific requirement and so on. We were there for you. Thank you.